I can just sense just the energy out there. There are some people who are interested in accounting. You just kind of just get that vibe out there. Just there's that aura in the universe that there's some people who are interested in accounting. And, if I would have done things differently I think I would have pursued accounting because it's such a great industry to get into, very stable. And you're doing, a great service helping customers and companies as well. My name is Jim Ducerre. I am the Director of Undergraduate Programs and Career Services here at the Ardrey School of Business and Economics. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. You could have been anywhere you wanted to in the world, but you're here with us for the next hour, and I really appreciate that. Very, very lucky to have our very own Lacey Willis, who is the clinical assistant professor here at Chapman University, and also the director of the MSA, Master's of Science in Accounting program. And with that, Lacey, I'm just going to kick it over to you.
All right.
That was pretty great.
Thank you so much, Jim.
Yep.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, my name is Lacey Willis. I am a faculty member in the accounting department here at Chapman University. And I am also the faculty director of the Master's of Science in Accounting program. And I'm actually an alum of the Chapman Accounting program. So I know it very, very well, and I'm happy to have you all here today and interested in learning more about our accounting program here at Chapman. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. Try that one more time, sorry. Okay. All right, there we are. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit today about our accounting program here at Chapman University, and just to kind of show you a little bit of an agenda of what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk a little bit about our just an overview of our accounting department and some key numbers that we are pretty excited about here at Chapman. And then I'm going to talk to you about the undergraduate program a little bit, our graduate program that we have available. And then I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Gabby Castaneda in Career Services, who is our accounting placement guru. And I'm going to, she's going to talk a little bit about career services and some of the wonderful things and opportunities that we have for our accounting students here at Chapman. So I always like to just kind of, bring things down to some numbers. I am an accountant after all. And so these are some really exciting numbers that we are very excited about in the accounting department in particular at Chapman. And the first number there is 89. That is the percentage of our undergraduate accounting students who are employed by the time they graduate. And that number does fluctuate a little bit from year to year, but it's always over about 80, 85%, which is something we're very proud of here at Chapman. We work very hard with our students to get them placed before graduation. So there's no stress, no worry at all. When they do, finally walk at graduation, they know that they have everything squared away. Accounting is one of the only majors, but I'll say very few, if not one of the only majors on campus that has this type of success in recruiting and this number of students that are placed in jobs before they graduate. The accounting recruiting process is very specific. It's very structured. If students follow the process, they have a very good chance of being placed, which is something that I know students and parents alike are both very, very excited about. And Gabby will talk more about that a little bit later in terms of that process. If that 89% is not good enough for you, 100% of our Master's of Science in Accounting students were placed or typically placed by the time they graduate, which again is really incredible. Average salary of our accounting students right out of school, about $60,000. And our students are being recruited by some of the top employers in the area. 15 employers regularly are recruiting our accounting students throughout the entire structured recruiting process, including the big four accounting firms, some private companies like Edwards Life Sciences and Disney, and some smaller regional accounting firms. We have a lot of diversity in the employers that are pursuing our accounting students, and they keep coming back because our accounting students are so strong. And what we may not necessarily have in quantity here at Chapman, we definitely have in quality. Our accounting students are renowned for just being really incredible and knowledgeable when they leave here, when they go to start work, and the employers continue to praise us for that. 9,000. That's how many times that our research active accounting faculty have been cited, how many times their research has been cited, which is incredible. We have some really, really strong accounting research faculty here at Chapman, which just adds, an extra layer of kind of excitement to our accounting program. And then lastly, for our non-research active faculty, but our more practitioner faculty, 25, that's the average number of years of experience in the accounting field that our clinical or practitioner faculty have. We have some really incredible faculty who have spent a lot of time in the accounting field and are very knowledgeable and have a lot of great real world stories to partake on to our students. In terms of the undergraduate program itself, we have a bachelor's of science in accounting. We also have available a dual major in accounting and business administration. And just to give you an idea of some of the available minors, we have a lot of accounting students that are majoring in accounting or maybe even double majoring in accounting and business administration that take on that minor in analytics. That's something that is fairly new, obviously a very emerging and growing area within business and definitely within accounting. So we have a lot of students that are taking on that analytics minor to make sure that they have all of the skills necessary to be successful when they reach the workforce. Also economics, business administration, entrepreneurship, to name just a few. We also have some emphases available in finance. We have a lot of accounting students that end up picking up an emphasis in finance to kind of round out their education. Also emphases in international business, management, marketing, real estate as well. So a lot of different areas where you can kind of pair, the accounting knowledge with other interesting areas within business. And we have a lot of students that are actively pursuing minors and emphases in other areas just to kind of round out their education here at Chapman. We have some incredible success for our students who pursue the CPA exam. I would say most of our accounting students end up pursuing their CPA license either in the state of California or elsewhere, and they do take that CPA exam. Our pass rates for the CPA exam are right up there with all of our other local schools. We're actually ahead of Cal State Fullerton, Cal State Long Beach, just behind USC and UCLA, although we kind of go back and forth from time to time. Sometimes we're ahead, sometimes they're ahead, but we're all kind of right there. Our first time pass rate's around 61%. And our first time average score is about a 74.4. So we do a really great job of preparing our students for the CPA exam here at Chapman. That's something that we pride ourselves in. We know that a lot of our students are going to be pursuing that CPA license, and we want to make sure that they are prepared to succeed and finish up that exam quickly so they can move on with the rest of their lives. We have some world-class faculty at Chapman, again, highly respected and frequently cited research active faculty. We also have in our kind of practitioner or clinical faculty, we have a couple of retired partners from Big Four accounting firms who have experience ranging from about 25 to 35 years at those Big Four accounting firms and are incredibly knowledgeable in areas such as accounting and taxation. And we also have a couple faculty that are current practitioners in the accounting field. And so what that means is that we are able to bring a lot of kind of real world experience, a lot of real world stories to the curriculum, which really helps kind of make things more realistic and helps things to sink in a little bit more and be remembered. And our students really enjoy that real world aspect that a lot of our faculty are able to bring to the classroom. In addition to our undergraduate accounting program, we also have a master's in accounting, a master's of science in accounting program that is really, it's 30 units. And what it's really intended to do is to get students ready to become licensed as CPAs in the state of California in particular. In California, students licensed or applicants, I would say, to become CPAs in the state of California need to have 150 academic units, but a typical undergraduate degree is only about 120 units. And so the Master's of Science in Accounting program is really just meant to bridge that gap between the undergraduate degree and that 150 unit requirement that you need in the state of California to be licensed as a CPA. And the curriculum is really intended to expand on that undergraduate curriculum to prepare students for material tested on the CPA exam, and also just making sure that we are giving our students the skills necessary to be really current when they get out into the workforce. For our undergraduate accounting students, we have an available accelerated 4+1 master's in accounting program where students are able to apply in their junior year and start taking graduate classes in their senior year. And there's a lot of time and cost savings associated with that, which is really exciting for those 4+1 students. Specifically, we can get to those 150 units or those 150 hours that students need to be licensed as a CPA in the state of California. And some coursework can graduate coursework can be taken during that undergraduate term, which means there's some cost savings because we'll be paying for those graduate courses at an undergraduate tuition rate. As well, we allow for some sharing of units. There are 6 units that can be shared between the undergraduate and graduate degree, right? So a lot of our students, if they do decide to pursue that accelerated 4+1 program and get both the undergraduate and the graduate degree, they again could take some courses in their senior year. They would take about 4 graduate courses in their senior year of their undergrad, and then maybe take a course in the summer and then a few courses in the fall, and then they'll be done, right? So our students are finished with undergrad maybe in May, and then they're done with their graduate degree as quickly as December, right? So pretty quick turnaround, and is really helpful for those students to just kind of, again, bridge that gap between the 120 and the 150 units, and gives them the ability to walk out of here in just a few short months with a graduate degree as well, which is incredibly valuable in the marketplace. So that's a really exciting program that we have. For those people who are not interested in the accelerated program, we also have a full Master's of Science program as well, where there wouldn't be kind of acceleration between the 2 degrees. And that is also available. So that's it just in terms of the structure of the accounting program or department itself. But I do want to turn it over to Dr. Gabby Castaneda in Career Services, who again is kind of our accounting placement guru and also kind of our CPA exam guru a little bit. She is very well versed in helping students to get applications in and make sure they're taking all the right courses and doing all the things they need to do in order to be licensed as a CPA in the state of California. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Castaneda to talk a little bit about career services and the recruiting program for accounting here at Chapman.
Thank you, Professor Wallace. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I don't know if I'm going to live up to that introduction there, but thank you. It's very humbling. Part of my role that I hold here is really supporting and serving as a bridge between our students and the organizations that they want to join, specifically in accounting. So basically what I'll do with students is meet with them, try to get to understand what your career goals are, what kind of firms that you're looking, what kind of service lines, if you will, do you want to do in accounting. And then we'll start the preparation of making sure that you are using all the tools available to you to be doing your job search. And that goes through using Handshake. It would be using our newly added digital tool, which is Career Shift. It's almost a hybrid of between LinkedIn and our Handshake. With that, we'll help you with looking for jobs, applying to those organizations that you're interested, helping you decide where you're at in the search process. Should you be applying for an internship? Should you be applying for a full-time? When should you be applying for either? And we'll start with reviewing your resume. If you have a resume, fantastic. We'll look at it, review it, see if there's any edits, any updates. And if you don't have one, that's totally okay too. We'll start from scratch. I'll also be supporting you with your cover letters. Again, if you have one, a template that you've been using, we can take a look at that. If you don't have one, you don't know what that looks like, don't worry. There's no judgment, nothing to be worried about. We'll start one from scratch. And then we offer some career management workshops. Again, all of these are in efforts to introduce you to the best practice of when you are recruiting. You'll have access to meeting our employers. Pre-COVID, it was in person. During COVID, it was all virtual. We're in the hybrid mode, going more into in person. Fingers crossed, everything goes well. Next semester, we're fully employers visiting campus in person. You'll have meet and greets with them. They'll like to, for example, it's pretty popular is Deloitte has sort of take over the lobby of our first floor in our building, Beckman Hall, which is the building behind me. And they'll just bring all kinds of goodies, and they'll call it in the past like donuts with Deloitte. So they have boxes of donuts there, and they have recruiters, they have professionals, they have our students ambassadors. Those are students that have recruited successfully and are now committed to that firm. And it's very casual, right? You're going in between classes, stop by. If you want to wear your usual clothes, totally fine. If you want to step it up a notch because you know they're there, that's okay too. But it's not necessary. And then we also host information sessions where we bring the employers and they do an hour presentation about the opportunities that they have. They go in depth about the culture of their firms. They go into the programs that they have, how they're retaining their talent. Like they have so much rich information for you to decide if that's a firm that you want to join, right? And so they want to get to know you. There's opportunities to network after the events. You can provide them with your resume and just really connecting with them and with different individuals that there are different phases of their career with that specific firm. Like I mentioned, you have those that just finished, potentially they just finished their internship. And you might be meeting with their director, right? Or that is also joining for the event. We also support you with targeted job search and internship. And again, we will make sure that you are applying for the roles that are going to get you to your full-time job by graduation. We have on-campus interviews. Those we have four interview rooms in our office, in our center, and those are utilized by employers and our students to conduct on-campus interviews. So basically, in between classes, you have an interview schedule. You show up in your professional attire, you do your interview, and you can go back and change and like nothing happened. And we're there to support you. One of the things that I want to make sure that you take away is that this process is it's a group effort. Obviously, you're an active participant, and we also have faculty that are supporting you. We have the professionals that are coming on board to, sort of snatch you before you even graduate, so that you can enjoy their firm. So these are some things that we are currently doing. We're always trying to think of different ways to make sure that our students are fully prepared. Now, the structure of the program for recruiting is very time sensitive, meaning you need to hit the ground running at the beginning of each semester or the semesters that you're recruiting. The reason is they are deadline driven. So we need to make sure that you are aware of who's going to be on campus, when they're going to be, what events we're going to be hosting, because all of those are networking opportunities for you, and your resume needs to be ready. And you'll be meeting with firm partners, hiring managers, the recruiters, and all the applications take place two ways, either on handshake or by the preference of the firm. Sometimes they do want you to also apply at their website. And we'll have all that information and handshake. So if the employer wants you to also apply through their portal, we'll have that information in there so you don't miss anything. August through September is career preparation. Like I said, we're hitting the ground running if it's during the fall, right? We're looking at your resume, you're interviewing. Let me check the back. You're submitting your applications, you're interviewing, and you're also networking, right? And you're taking classes, just to throw in the mix. But it's very manageable, I promise you. September, it's a lot of networking opportunities. That is where we host our info sessions, our informational sessions from the firms. Some of the firms host open house, so you can go to their events. Some of them will host things near campus. They want something that is more casual, so they might say, okay, let's meet at, Provisions, which is a coffee restaurant near campus, or any other restaurant near campus. And that's where they want to host this social event. Meet the Firms is a job fair specifically for accounting. And that we only host that in the fall. We don't have that in the spring. And then October is you're looking at full-time opportunities. You're interviewing. You are going through the first round of interviews. And then subsequently, the second round of interviews are shortly thereafter. So there's students that participated this semester in our recruiting process. They already have job offers. They're right now deciding, where am I going to go when spring comes, or next year, because they're finishing up your senior year. In this case, some of our students secure this at the end of their junior year after their internships, which is very unique, right? So you go through the process, and then by the time you hit your junior year, you've done the internship, you got a full-time offer. Your senior year, you're not worrying about it. This is a short list of some of the employers that are recruiting our fabulous, talented students. I do get one complaint from recruiters and hiring managers is that we don't have enough students for them to hire. So you're in very good hands. They know how well prepared our students are in the classroom with professors such as Professor Willis here, but many other fantastic faculty members, but also how we're preparing you outside of the classroom, which is all of those things that I mentioned. And sometimes we get nervous when we're networking. We don't know how to introduce ourselves. How do I stand out from the rest of the candidates? We'll help you with that. I'm there to support you, give you tips and ideas and different things that you can try. We have the Accounting Society Executive Board picture here. We have an Accounting Society that is phenomenal. And there's other great way that students can network, but also, build your leadership skills by joining the board. So they hold the president, vice president, chairs, the treasurer, secretary. They have a lot of positions that our students can thrive. And again, we have a faculty member that it's an advisor to the board. So again, we're helping you develop those strong skills that when you go into the workforce, you're just going to take over the world, basically. That's what we're preparing you for. And this is some of the contact info, but I'll pass it on back to Professor Willis. And I'm here if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Gabby, for all that really helpful information. Just a couple of things that I want to highlight from what she mentioned. That recruiting process in terms of hiring, can happen as early as junior year, sometimes even sophomore year, if students are, if they decide on accounting early on, they can get involved in the accounting recruiting process very early. And it's not unusual for some of our very eager sophomores to be landing, summer leadership programs and internships as early as their sophomore year or very early junior year. And it's really all about just building relationships and making connections with those firms, and also getting a lot of really great experience that can be helpful when it comes time to find a full-time position. Most of our students, if they do land internships with firms, they kind of roll those internships right into full-time offers upon graduation. So this whole process is really just intended to get everybody a secure job before they finish up their undergraduate degree or graduate degree, depending on what it is, so that they don't have to stress about those things when they're done, and we can help the students secure those positions while they're still here with us at Chapman, instead of the students having to go out and find those jobs on their own. And again, as Dr. Castaneda mentioned, it is very unique to accounting. The Accounting Society was one of the first kind of organizations of its type within the business school. A lot of other disciplines have picked up and tried to model after the Accounting Society. We have an Analytics Society and a lot of others, a Finance Society, that are trying to do the same thing and get our students exposure to the industry, right, and to employers. But this accounting recruiting process and the Accounting Society have been around for a long time, and I can attest to that because it was around even as long ago as I was an undergraduate student. And they're just incredible at giving students opportunities to get in front of employers and giving everyone the chance to succeed, right? Because that's really what we're here for. That's what you go to college for, right? Is to get the skills to be able to get a job at the end of the day, and get a good job, a secure job, a well-paying job. And you really can't go wrong with accounting, as far as I'm concerned. And I could be very biased from that standpoint, but accounting is the language of business, right? There's no other discipline within business that's going to give you as much well-rounded information about business in general as accounting does. And you can always move from accounting to other areas within business, but it's very hard to go the other way around. So I always encourage students who are interested in accounting to go for it, right? And pursue minors or emphases in other areas that interest them as well. But having a strong accounting background is really never going to do you wrong. I think in terms of contact information, again, for myself, I primarily head up the Master's in Accounting program, but I do teach an unreasonable number of classes in the accounting department. So for those students who do end up becoming accounting majors, you'll probably see me no fewer than 3 semesters, sometimes 4. So I'm happy to help with any students who might be interested in the program, just give them a better idea as to what the classes look like and what the expectations are. So you can feel free to contact me. My contact information is there. And then Jim, who you heard with at the beginning, he is a great resource as well for all things undergraduate programs and career services. And then again, Dr. Castaneda, in terms of career services. And I would just encourage anyone who's interested in accounting to really take steps toward becoming active in the career placement process and in the Accounting Society very early and often. And if you do decide to do accounting, just know that it is pretty structured. It's a pretty structured program. So again, if you decide or you're thinking about accounting, I would definitely make sure that you reach out to our incredible advisors in the Ardress School about making sure that you've planned everything appropriately and taking the right classes at the right time to make sure that you kind of tick all the boxes and get everything done so that you can finish up your school on time and also get that incredible job. And at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and open it up to any questions that anybody may have. I'll go ahead and stop sharing here. Looks like there is a question in the chat. How many current students are pursuing accounting? And what is the average class size? Great question. I'm going to go based on what I see, because I see pretty much all of the accounting students. And we have, I don't know in terms of a total, but we have probably about 50 to 60 students kind of per year. Does that sound about right, Gabby? Oh, we lost you.
Oh, I'm not sure
There
what
she is.
happened there. Sorry about that. Yes, that is accurate. It fluctuates. I mean, each year it's a little bit different, but yeah, that's right about. But the right
Yeah,
target.
we're usually at around 50 to 60. And again, some years it's a lot higher, closer to the 70 range. Some years we're closer to the 50 range. It just kind of fluctuates. In terms of class sizes, Chapman as a whole, our kind of, personalized education of distinction. We keep our classes small on purpose because we want students to feel like they're a part of something, and we want students to be able to engage with each other and with their faculty members, and to feel like they're having really that personalized experience. So the most I've seen, like in an intermediate accounting class, 30, 35, somewhere around there is kind of the top end. As you get into some of those higher electives, maybe you're looking at something more like 20, 25 students in the classroom. So definitely enough to have a really great conversation and to get a lot of different viewpoints, but not too many so that you feel like you're lost in the crowd, right? Everyone has something to say. Are there any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes,
There's some students on here, prospective students, and they want to lean into accounting. They hear some part of the vernacular about accounting public versus private. And then some students are expected to know exactly what that means, even though they might not know at this point. Could you briefly just describe the difference between public accounting versus private accounting? And then there's the big four and mid-tiers type accounting firms.
Yeah, so when we're talking about public versus private, we're really just talking about different types of employers, different types of accounting jobs, basically. Accounting is pretty universal. Every business needs an accountant, but there are some accountants that work in-house, at a company in their accounting department. That's what we typically call private. And then there are accounting firms who are there to basically service clients who need accounting help. So they need tax work, they need their tax returns prepared. They need, help with bookkeeping. They need an audit prepared, or maybe some sort of advisory services or things like that a CPA can provide. So when we talk about public versus private, we're basically talking about whether you're going to go work for an accounting firm, and that would be public, or if you're going to go work for a company in their accounting department, and that would be private. And that's actually not even capturing all of it, because there are other opportunities. There are government jobs in accounting. The CIA and the FBI are always looking for accountants because there's a lot of white collar crime going on. There are you go work for the IRS if you want. I mean, there's all sorts of opportunities within accounting, either in an accounting firm, within a company in their accounting department, or even in the government or in the nonprofit sector. There's opportunities kind of all over the place. But in terms of the recruiting process, what we typically see, the employers that we usually see most often when we are finding students jobs, are going to be accounting firms, just because they are so active in trying to find new students and new employees. And then we also have a lot of connections with some really great private employers within Orange County in particular. Like I mentioned before, Edwards Life Sciences hires a lot of our accounting students. Disney hires a lot of our accounting students. Those are the big ones that are kind of standing out. Gabby, you jump in if you can think of any others that stand out to you. But we try to get a little bit of mix of as much as we can. But the recruiting process itself is very much driven by accounting firms, because they, that's kind of just how the process has been built. And then for those students that aren't interested in accounting firms, we'll do what we can to connect them with our other connections in private industry or even government.
Another company that hires our accounting students is the Irvine company,
Oh, yeah, Irvine
which
Company,
is
yeah.
they're in the real estate, but they obviously need support in their accounting department. Needless to say, there's so many opportunities, whether you decide to go private or public, or you want to start in public and then transition into private. You can totally, I mean, lifestyles and change, goals change through the years, and you might want to start in public accounting, but then you want to potentially later on, you're there for a few years and then you want to go into private. And I've seen it where students start in public, they go to private, and then they come back to private, to public. So,
Or they go
you
start
can-
their own firm,
or
right?
they start their own firm, their own businesses, consulting, or their own CPA, and then you become one of our employers because now you're taking more students. So I'm planting those seeds already in you guys' brains. So yeah, there's a lot of great opportunities.
Yeah.
Any other questions? One thing that I want to make sure you guys know, for those that whether you want to go into public or private and you want to get your CPA, I'll sit down with you one-on-one to make sure that you are meeting how are you going to get your 150 to set for the CPA. I will tell you where to go to apply for submit your application, where you need to send your transcripts, if it's hard copy transcripts, if it's digital transcripts, how much you need to pay. We'll do an audit to make sure that you're meeting all the requirements, aside from getting to the 150, but that you took all the appropriate classes. We don't want like unwanted surprises when you're applying. You're like, oh, you're missing this or that units. I've never had that because I sat down and we literally audit, making sure that you're in the right track. And then all I hear is after that is I schedule my appointment for my first exam. And then we have a great relationship with some of the companies that offer, Lacey, help me out with the name, like Becker.
CPA exam review
CPA reviews,
materials. So like Becker and a couple
Wiley,
others. Yeah, we have
Rogers.
Yeah, good relationships with companies that offer review materials for the CPA exam. So when students finish their degree, they'll usually pursue a review course, right? So they can kind of bring everything back to the forefront, remember all the stuff that they learned in undergrad, and maybe they're pursuing their graduate degree, and make sure they're focusing on the things that are going to be tested on the CPA exam. And we do have some relationships with companies that offer some discounts and scholarships and things like that for our accounting students, which is really helpful as well. Yeah. Any other questions?
Are there any prospective students on here who would want to volunteer? What it is about accounting that makes you want to pursue it?
Well, putting them on the spot, Jim.
I know. You don't have to. I thought I'd throw that out there.
No.
Go ahead, Jagger, if you want to chime in.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and if anyone does have any questions, though, again, feel free to contact any of us, really, but I'll throw up this contact slide just one more time in case you wanted to take that information down. So again, either myself, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, or Jim or Dr. Castaneda. Any of us can help. And again, I would just encourage anyone who is interested in accounting to seek advising early. Make sure you are you're talking to our arduous advising group and making sure you're taking the right classes at the right times. Oh, there's Jagger. I've always been interested in the numbers, and it's a job that needs workers. Deloitte and others are actively recruiting and can't find enough students. Yeah, that's very true. And that's one of the things that's great about the accounting industry in general is it's not necessarily recession proof, but it is
Pandemic.
yeah, it might be a little bit, recession and pandemic proof in that, it's an industry that needs people. It's a service industry. So everyone needs to get their taxes done. Everyone needs, to keep their books in order. Everyone needs to make sure that their accounting is on the up and up, no matter the economy, right? So it does tend to be an industry that remains stable even when the economy is down, and the accounting firms are always looking for new people, to fill up those lower ranks and kind of move them on up through, the higher ranks in the organization. It's just kind of a constant cycle. And so they're always looking for new people and new students straight out of undergrad. And the recruiting process is very successful. It's also very structured. So in terms of finding a job, it's one of the best options you have, really university wide, but definitely within the business school. And yes, you are absolutely right in that accounting is very applicable to other fields. And I tell my accounting students that all the time, whether you want to go into, entrepreneurship for sure. If you want to go into even marketing, right? Understanding the numbers behind what it is you're doing is really important, right? To understand that big picture. Accounting is the language of business. And so understanding business really means understanding accounting and understanding how you impact the numbers, right? So that is very, very true. So again, feel free to reach out to any of us if you have any questions at all. Jim, did you want to jump in there?
Yeah, just real quick. It's funny that, because it is applicable to other fields. We had a very, very, very influential person here at Chapman, a big donor who's made his billions in real estate, recently said, if I could have gone back, I wish I would have taken more accounting classes. And there's somebody who's really, really made it and really understands the value of accounting. So, yeah, but with that, if there's no other questions, we'll be on here for a few more minutes. Feel free to hang out. If not, feel free to hop off. And thank you so much for your time. I'm going to put my contact information. I think you saw it earlier, but if you want to reach out to me, feel free to. And or if you could be on campus anytime soon, we'd love to see you in person as well. Okay. So with that, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. And hopefully we'll see you on campus soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Yep.